Pounderful? Pounderful? What? What does that mean? All right. So far we've managed to drop 2 layers of stuff on goblins and made a lot of goblin pancakes. Let's continue with that quest to create more goblin pancakes by dropping more stuff on goblins. Have any of you guys seen support comment before on my YouTube videos? I think he just woke up. Been a while. Anyway. Good morning, support comment. And support comment is an actual person, not a bot. I actually asked him at one point, I was like, are you a bot? He goes, nope, I'm a person. I'm just uncreative with my comments. I was like, So, we're going to go back to prepping to cave things in on dudes. Going to need to and there we go. Get those up and running. Perfect. We got plenty of that, plenty of this. We need to set you up, and then you, right here, can go away. Because there is a layer above us. You can go away because we are supported by that pillar. And then all we need to do is connect the thingy, and then we're good to go. 1 layer up, we have all of this. But anyway, since I like vanished the second you got here, I hope that you've been good busy and not bad busy, Merc. You've been saying this stuff on your older videos. Excellent background noise while you wake up. I'm glad I can help. Glad I can help. Yeah, no, supports comments started doing that early on in 2020. But if I'm not mistaken, either doesn't have the time or doesn't have the internet to be able to actually watch. All right, so someone's getting interrupted by a giant olm. We should probably sack this twit in the face. Let's unlife you real quick. We're fighting with the giant olm. Guys. So much miasma. Miasma's actually really rough. If I didn't need to set all this stuff up as quick as possible, I would have told the dwarves to just leave already. So work's just been a cluster, I gather? Support might be happy to hear about quality options. I don't pest people. Usually I find if people make excuses about why they can't watch, they just don't want to watch, which is fine. I don't usually worry about it too much. Some people just aren't live stream viewers. People just like to watch YouTube videos, and I get that. You just like long form content? Yeah. Well, I agree. I also like long form content, but not for everybody. Doesn't have to be. Relinking building to trigger, excuse me. Oh, why'd you suspend that? So we're trying to build another grate so that we have another way in and out of this. Complete clusterfuck up until a couple of ex-coworkers got into a fist fight and got fired. Oh, so they're not coworkers anymore. I get you. Then bad busy turned into good busy with a mix of change of season busy. Gotcha. I don't... You know, Chad, what is the most violent firing you've ever seen of a coworker or a person that you worked with? Because I worked with a girl named Leah at one point who then later got hired back to be my manager. Who, when I first started working at the very first McDonald's I worked at, she worked there, and she was very, 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 very pregnant at the time, like, maybe, like, 2 weeks before she would pop. And, she was, like, working her last couple of shifts before she was going to go on to maternity leave. And, a customer who is a regular, also known as for being an absolute dickhead, comes in and goes, "Oh my God, you've gotten fat," to her really loudly. I just remember seeing him turn around and then a muffin just comes flying out of nowhere and smacks him in the back of the head. And she just like walks over to the muffin tray, like where all the muffins are, and just grabs the whole thing and just starts beating them at him and just smacked him with a good 4 or 5 of them before she ran out of muffins. At which point then she ran around and went and slapped him real hard and said, "Fuck you all, I quit," and walked out the back door. And the manager said, "No, fuck you, you're fired." And then she got hired back like 6 months later and was my manager for a bit. She was cool. Working with her was fun. Strange person, but she was fun. That's the most violent firing / quitting I've ever seen at a workplace. Was Leah going batshit and beating the crap out of somebody with muffins because the guy's response was, "Oh my God, you've gotten fat." You were on base yelling for everyone down with the fully armed platoon, including light machine gun, and then escorted the guy away. Damn. That's a pretty intense firing. Okay, I think you win. I don't think you've ever seen someone else get fired, but you got fired in a really shitty way, nonviolent. I mean, you don't need to tell if you don't want to, but I just think that story is hilarious. Because there's something about just, like, somebody getting assaulted by muffin assault and battery that's just, to this day, is still amusing to me. I've never been fired from a job, and I'm actually kind of proud to say that. They locked you out of the building and didn't tell you. Wow. That's just shameful. God. Imagine being locked out of a workplace. Plus the 2-hour each way commute. Oh God, I had to commute that long at one point. That sucks. I feel like that's like that's got to be like a crime, just like not telling somebody that you're fired. At the very least, it's like not exactly courteous. Oh, your mom got out of her job? Yeah, I remember that was a pretty... I mean, I'm just... Sounds like was due to get out of that one for a while, regardless, so... There's a guy who runs into the office completely nude, wielding a sword. Completely nude, wielding a sword. You know, I'll be honest, Irish Stupid. You say some things that I'm just like, I have a hard time believing that. And I also have a hard time believing that one. But I will choose to believe it because that is very funny. There was a guy that ran into my McDonald's once on New Year's Eve. This guy didn't work there, but he came running in on New Year's Eve at about 1 o'clock in the morning. It's pretty quiet. Drugs are probably involved. Yeah, that would make sense. Comes running in, completely, like, fucking naked, but covered in tinfoil, so you couldn't, like, see his junk or anything. Completely naked, but wearing tinfoil, all wrapped around his entire body. And he had a wizard's hat and a fake, like, plastic staff, like a Gandalf staff. He comes running in and screams, "What year is it?" And we're like, 2012? Because that's the year it was. And he goes, "Fuck!" And he runs out the back door. And I'm like, right? that was pretty strange. Not somebody quitting, but one of the stranger funny things I've seen. And then about 4 hours later that night, I was pretty close to ending my shift because it was about 5 a.m., I would say. We saw him and another guy prancing down the middle of the highway. Yeah, time travel. Obviously, time traveler missed his target. Him and another guy prancing down the middle of the highway because there was a highway right next to my McDonald's, which was pretty quiet at this time of day, especially on New Year's Day, with a giant, what looked like model airplane. Just doing this. Holding this airplane, like, up above their heads. Like, one of them was holding the back, the other one was kind of holding the front, and they were just, like, slowly, like, glide. Obviously, that was their time machine, clearly, but... You believe this? You've seen similar psychotic breaks, but nothing that new. I mean, I've seen, like, it's the with a sword part that's like like if it was like with a broom, I'd be more likely to believe. Although then again, I guess there's plenty of mall ninjas out there, so maybe. Also, mall ninja shit, really good subreddit, by the way. But I don't know. I've seen some pretty outlandishly strange things in my life, so other people have too. All right, I was supposed to make a stoneworkers guild, which I'm going to do right here. Because it's convenient and right there. But yeah, I am inclined to believe that as well, that somebody went crazy enough to, like, run around and smash things with a sword. Speaking of running around and smashing things with a sword, how's our local floating throne doing? Squuggs, good to see you. Hope you're all right, man. Things are decent in your side of the world. Maybe the officers who run the security of the building wouldn't let something like that get through. Yeah, that's like the impressive thing. It's like, how the fuck, like, where were you working that security was so bad that a naked guy with a sword came running in? Like, that's the impressive thing. It's like, how in the world? So that means one of two things. Either A, you're really good at your job, Squug, in which case I'm proud of you and good for you, or B, you're an opportunist and your job has high turnover and a bunch of people just quit / got fired, which in the same statement, also proud of you and good for you. But congrats, man. Fuck yeah. Nothing wrong with being an opportunist when it benefits you. Kind of A and kind of B. Yeah. Well, good for you, dude. Fuck yeah. You know, I really need to make that command easier to, like, remember. Because that one is so hot. Like, it should just be, like, exclamation point yeah or something. Because it's definitely not fuck yeah. The command for that one. So one of your previous jobs, you had a colleague, which was supposed to be fired, but apparently they forgot to tell him. HR had already finished all the paperwork for firing him, and my boss comes in on Wednesday into the office seeing him, and he goes, "Yo, what are you doing here?" And the colleague goes, "I'm working." He's like I'm supposed to. And boss says, and your boss went bright red and started to scream, "Hell no, we fired you on Monday. Get the fuck out." And the colleague has been working. Oh, did he get back pay? Cause fuck, dude. That sucks. I mean, if he was a terrible worker, I guess it's good, but like that sucks. I wouldn't wish that on my enemy. The guy in the role previously started flaking and made it clear he was looking for other work. Okay, yeah, I got you. Oh, hell yeah, man. Take that opportunity. Glad shit's working out. It's a hell of a lot better than the deli. When Squug first started watching the stream, you worked in a deli at a grocery store. Shop lead's a bit of an improvement, so fuck yeah. Due to incorrect termination? That's, well, I'm glad he got, like, justice back to him. And fuck that boss for just telling him to fuck off in front of everybody. Because that sucks. My favorite of those was the Pillsbury Doughboy costume breaking into the loot shop to cover all the toys and vodka, and there wasn't any audio for security cam footage, but apparently he was jabbering about purifying tainted flesh. How does vodka purify anything? I mean, I like vodka and all, but like, I mean, isopropyl, come on. But also based indeed, yes, I completely agree. This is what we're working on over here, so I'll just let them build stuff over there. Oh, that's a psychotic breakthrough. Oh, I was like, wait, did he like get fired and go get a new job and then like, you know, go and, yeah, okay, this makes sense. Sure. Yeah, that checks out. I don't know if this is a psychotic break story, but I had a person walk into my McDonald's at the old location, or try to walk into my McDonald's, and we were closed because we closed at 11 o'clock at night, and I was there from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m., and they opened back up at 5 a.m., so I was there for 6 hours while the place was closed by myself, basically, and then someone would show up like 15 minutes before me and 15 minutes after. Yeah, skull and take a shot, and rest in peace, good man. Anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, so this person tried to walk in, bumped into the door, expecting it to automatically open because it was an auto swing open door, yell at me just inside while we were closed, and I said, it's 2 in the morning, we closed at 11 p.m. And he goes, bullshit, you don't close, you're a McDonald's. And I pointed at the sign that says open from like 6 a.m. or 5 a.m. till 11 p.m. And he goes, this sign's bullshit, fuck you, why'd you just put this here? And I said, because we're closed. And he goes, fuck you, and then he walked away. And then about 2 minutes later, I after coming back out with some like fresh towels because I was cleaning tables, I glanced outside and realized he was taking a shit on the patio on one of the tables. I don't know if that counts as a psychotic break, but I mean, that made me want to go into a psychotic break. What's even better is he then showed up at 5 in the morning, right when we opened, with his poop still on the table, banging on the door to be let in, saying, I want a McMuffin, really loudly, and they arrested him for public indecency. And then he showed up the next fucking week. Anyway. People. And they say Canadians are polite. I beg to differ. Man's got to realize. I hate you. Fuck off. Oh, God, that's disgusting. Anyway. It was a weird job, audio. It was a weird job. But not a psychotic break story, but this is one of my favorite McDonald's stories. OGs of this channel will definitely remember this one. So obviously, like, I worked night shift at McDonald's for quite some time. And during my stint at the first location I was at, right shortly after I went on to full-time nights, I was working in the drive-thru because I was covering because we were really busy. I normally worked maintenance, so I cleaned primarily. I was basically a janitor. But every now and again, if they were exceptionally busy, I would help out on stations. So I was helping on station and handing out orders in the drive-thru, as you do. And I have the headset on so I can hear the orders that are being taken by my coworker. And I just hear like this hysterical laughter. And this guy with this very muffled voice that says, "I want a fucking ice cream cone!" But it sounded like he was really far away. And she goes, "A what?" Because she could barely hear him. And she goes, "I want a fucking ice cream cone!" And she goes, "An ice cream cone?" And he goes, "Yeah." And she goes, and my coworker goes, "An ice cream cone?" And the voice responds, "Yes." And she goes, "Okay." One ice cream at like $1.12 or whatever it was. Drives around, pulls up to the window. I think it's like $1.60. Anyway, drives up to the window, pays for it, and my coworker's name was Paige, and I just hear her pop up on the headset going, "You're never gonna fucking believe this." And then they drive up, and they're in a right-hand drive van. I don't know the make. I think it's a Mercedes Benz, like a cheaper one, but it's like an import van that's right-hand drive. Anyway, they're in a right-hand drive van, and it's this. He looked like Mr. Clean. It's the only way I can describe him. Looked like Mr. Clean. So, like, no hair. In the Americas, there's import vehicles here. You have to put them on a boat and ship them over. But there's you see them, like, not super frequently, but more frequently than, like, sports cars. Anyway, he was completely bald. No hair on his body to be seen. And he was wearing nothing but an American flag pair of boxer shorts. So he had boxer shorts on that just had like an American flag on. That's it. And there was about 6 other people in the car. And the only way that I could describe them is off-duty strippers. So very scantily clad women. This car was just packed with scantily clad women. Like very tiny, like not bikinis, but like underwear, basically. He was driving. And he just says, "My fucking ice cream cone! I want my fucking ice cream!" Like, very, like, aggressively. And I'm like, yeah, just calm down, man. So I get the ice cream cone, and I hand it in to the thing. And one of the girls takes the ice cream cone. She's just grinning at me. Hands it over to this guy, and he goes, "I'm a fucking unicorn!" And smashes it on his forehead, and they gunned it and drove straight through our garden, through the hedge, and across the street, damn near hit somebody, and then took a left and biffed it down the highway. It's the most confused I've ever been after handing out an order. Why is there a water buffalo in my temple? Slaughter that, I think. So, yeah. I'm like this close to certain that someone was filming it and I got punked, but also at the same time, I don't think that they would then like proceed to drive straight through the building's garden. You feel like drugs may have been involved? Possible. Mixed acid and coke. We guessed speed. But who knows? It could have been crack, could have been speed, could have been coke, could have been many things. But the one thing I can tell you for certain is that we were very, very entertained. And like there was a lot of people in the store at the time because we were very busy. And there was a bunch of people in the lobby that were like, "The fuck just happened?" And everybody's like, "I don't know." You tell us. So yeah. Probably my favorite McDonald's story to tell. This was real. This happened. This was 2013? Beginning of winter? Late in the year? Like fall, October, maybe November, somewhere around there. Night shift, about 2:30 in the morning. That isn't like I mean, the number of things that I had to do when working night shift at McDonald's was ridiculous. Like, everything from telling teenagers, "No, you can't have sex in the play place at 3 in the morning," while they're actively doing that, and then calling the police to remove them. Everything from that all the way to, like, stopping, or not stopping, but cleaning up after a knife fight in the men's bathroom. Like, so, if it exists, I've cleaned it up, and if people are capable of doing it, I've probably seen it. Like the lady that dropped pants and took a shit on the floor when she heard that we were out of McDoubles. Not McDoubles, McRibs. Like that kind of shit. Like, if it exists, I've cleaned it up, and if people are capable of it, I've probably seen it. Stuff like this is why you give big tips? What, like, me having traumatizing work stories? Or because I'm hilarious? Trying to think, what else have I fucking done? What's a story that I haven't told in a while? Me and one of my managers got so good at making McFlurries and passing them out the window, he would stand at one end of the restaurant making the McFlurries at the ice cream machine, and then he would underhand them, throw them to me, and I'd catch them and hand them out. That was pretty good. We impressed a lot of people by doing that. There was one person who was just like, man, if you guys worked as bartenders and not at McDonald's, you'd be making bank off of tips. And then proceeded to walk out, and we were like, well, I mean, we're not allowed to accept tips, so. Oh, here's a weird one. I found a whole dead deer in the parking lot once. An entire deer. Someone comes in, and they're just like, yeah, there's a plastic bag in the corner of your parking lot. And we were like, what? And they're like, yeah, and it smells real bad. We actually checked on the cameras there, and this person didn't leave it there, which was our initial suspicion. We're like, the fuck? So me and my coworker, Mitch, go outside. And there's like this garbage bag. I'm like, I'm not touching it. He goes, I'm not touching it. I'm like, okay. So I take the broom and I'm just like, poke it. I'm like, do we call the police? I'm like, I think it's a body. And he's like, it smells like one. Grab the other end and lift the thing up. It's definitely a dead deer. Somebody like ran over a deer and then's like, yeah, let's just leave it in the McDonald's parking lot in a plastic bag. That was fun. What else? Crazy shit that people made us do. I should just put blocks of all kinds on this. Don't worry about it so much. Holy lag! Frame rate in this fort's terrible. Because I've done such a bad job setting it up pathing-wise. But yeah, don't ever work in customer service if you can avoid it, chat. It is, like Merc said, horrific. But you know it isn't horrific? Saying hello to Cramp667 in the chat room. How you doing, Cramp? It's good to see you. I'm discussing horrifying horror stories from McDonald's. Oh, here's another one. I got hit in the head with a flying fillet of fish once. Well, it's even better as it wasn't even thrown at me. It was thrown at my coworker. She dodged, and I was behind her and went donk and hit me in the back of the head. Turn around, this guy was just real mad because it had too much sauce on it or something. And so he decided it would be a good idea to throw it at my coworker. Then he thought it would also be a good idea to, like, you know the McDonald's Monopoly things that they do where you get the little stickers? In a book and sell it on Amazon. I am horrible at writing, so it would be terrible. Maybe an audiobook. You know those little stickers that you can peel off and, like, you get... Also, I don't think McDonald's would appreciate that very much. But then again, it is Amazon, so anything goes. It's the Wild fucking West. But like the... I've never seen that before. Have any of you seen that before? There's a Baron coming. We're gonna get a Baron. I've never seen that before. You guys know that, like, if there's a Baron coming, you see it in the Nobles screen before they show up? Anyway, like, you know those, the little, Monopoly stickers? Well, they were like, there's, like, a whole strip of McDonald's cups just, like, on the counter. All with the stickers on, large cups. So they have 2 stickers each. Grabbed the thing and tried to run out the door. And my coworker was standing by the door. And he was a bigger dude. literally just like clocks the guy in the jaw with his elbow, knees him in the stomach, and takes the what do you call it? The cups from him and knocks him down, and the guy's like, "I'll sue you for assault." And we're like, "I think we're pressing charges against you, actually." But yeah, I had no idea that they do that. Jesus. 3 cages? I could also tell you about the time that I got robbed. Guy comes into the store and does the classic, "Give me all your money, yada, 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 like empty out the tills, blah, 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 blah." And my manager, who was the only person at the front of the store, none of us realized that we were getting robbed, doesn't do that. Instead, he goes, "Ah, he's got a knife," and runs away. Runs into the back of the kitchen and into the fridge, right? And then the guy, so my manager's locked himself in the fridge. The guy vaults the counter and tries to like fiddle with the till to try and like jury it open. Me and my coworker come out from the drive-thru going like, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" And then he turns around and goes, "Oh my God, there's people here," and jumps back over the counter and does the open the till. And we're like, "We need our manager." And he goes, "Well, go get him. He's in the back." And we're like, my coworker's like, "All right." So he goes to go into the back to like find my manager to like open the till because we can't manually open it. And then he goes, "Process an order or something." So the guy who works in the back just goes up and starts punching the thing to open it up. And in the back there are these 2 homeless dudes who I won't name, but they were pretty famous for like looking scary in town. They were both nice enough guys, and we just kind of let them hang out in the back. We knew that like they were harmless to us anyway, but we just let them hang out in the back, right? Sometimes we'd let them sleep too. Like we didn't really care. We'd give them free coffee if they wanted it. Like we'd take care of them, and they just kind of hung out in the back. But anyway, they were about to earn their keep because they see this guy with the knife doing the like "give me all your money" thing. And I just see one of them who's like, he looked down on me, and I was as tall as I am now at the time, and so he was up here. He was like big dude. Just kind of gets up, does this, and just slowly starts walking up behind this guy. We're just sitting there, and like opening up the till, and my coworker's just like looking at him, the guy who's got the knife, and pulling out money. The guy's taking the money, putting it in his pocket. 2 guys are walking behind him, just keeps pulling out money, putting out money, and then one of them just like clocks him in the back of the head. The other one grabs his 2 hands and puts them behind his back and throws him on the ground. And then they just the bigger dude who like got him on the ground and has his hands behind his back takes his knife, throws it to his friend. His friend grabs it. His friend runs out the door, and then the bigger dude's just like, "I have weed, so I'll get arrested if they show up." And then he just lets go of the guy and runs out the back door after his friend who's carrying the knife. And the guy who did the robbing, or was trying to do the robbing, got up and was now unarmed, so he booked it out the other door. And then the police showed up shortly after. And then it took us 5 minutes to figure out where our manager was because he'd locked himself in the freezer and couldn't actually get back out because the door had frozen itself shut. It was a problem that it had. So our manager was stuck in the freezer, and it took us about 20 minutes to find him. And then we finally found him. He's sitting there just like shivering because like he can't call for help. He's like, well, his logic was he would lock himself in the freezer and then call the police, but he had no cell reception in the freezer because he's intelligent. Anyway, that's probably the most memorable event of my entire career working at McDonald's. Anyway, it was a terrible 8.5 years of my life of being underpaid and abused by management. But the one real benefit that I do have is I have all kinds of really fucking stupid stories to tell people. Like a McDonald's robbery. There was one time that we allegedly got robbed and I slept through it. That location got robbed like 3 times a year and it was always on the night shift. And because I worked weekdays on the night shifts, odds were good that I'd see it. But there was one time I was cleaning the play place, and this was when I was homeless, so it would have been the end of 2013. I was cleaning the play place, like the kids' playpen, and I passed out, like I fell asleep in there. But after I'd been dozing probably for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I get this Greg, on the headset because I had the headset on. He goes, Greg, where's Greg? Greg, where are you? Greg. And I'm just like, what? He goes, oh, you're not dead. Cool. I was like, why would I be dead? I'm like, I think I passed out. He goes, that's fine. We got robbed. I was like, what? He's like, you need to get down here now. Okay. So I did sleep through getting robbed once. Yeah, because they had weed, naturally. Knowing them, they probably definitely didn't have weed. They probably definitely had, like, some form of weapon or hard drugs. Oh, there was the I'm going to prison guy. I'm going to prison guy. This would have been in the summer because it was I remember there being people in like shorts and t-shirt and stuff in the lobby. But I'm going to prison guy walked in the middle of the night at some point, and we weren't super busy, but there was a couple people in the store, and he walks up to the person right next to the person who's cashing out their order, leans on the counter and just looks at him and goes, I'm going to prison. Imagine you're just like trying to order like a Big Mac meal and you're kind of drunk and you're like, I'd like a Big Mac meal with a medium fries and should I get it? Like he was like the most indecisive guy I've ever seen. And this guy just walks up, like kneels down next to him and goes, I'm going to prison. I'm paying for your meal. To the guy who was trying to order, and he goes, okay. So this really kind of like drunk guy who's trying to order. And he goes, and I'm paying for your meal to the person behind him. And I'm paying for your meal. And guess how I'm doing it? And he just opens up his jacket and starts throwing cash. Like throwing cash. Like, you know, like the, what are you buying? What are you selling guy? This is like that, except 20s. He's just dumping money out of his jacket. And like, I made it out of there with about $200 in 20s. But like, he just starts dumping cash everywhere. He's like, I'm paying for everybody's food. Everybody's getting food because I'm going to prison. It's just throwing money everywhere. And we're just like we're just kind of standing there like perplexed. He's like, he throws like a fistful of 20s over the counter, which is how I got like $200. Everybody's just grabbing like money and he's just throwing it everywhere. And then 2 police officers come in one end, 2 police officers come in the other door. We see the cop cars pulling into the parking lot. They book it in and just like knock the guy on the ground and put him in handcuffs. He goes, I know I'm going to prison. Stop it. And then they just like pick him up and walked him out the door while he's like, well, there's money just everywhere. Like the police officer grabbed 20, put it in his pocket, walked out the door. It's like, can you tell that I worked at a McDonald's in the really bad part of town, right next to a bunch of meth houses and party houses and rental units and college kids? Because, yeah, I did. No, they just left it. They just left it. I mean, like, you've got like dozens of drunk people in a McDonald's, maybe like a dozen drunk people in McDonald's trying to pick up the money. If the police start trying to take the money away from them, thought it was going to be more sinister. After that whole ordeal ended, one of my coworkers who quit shortly after this comes up to me and goes, I used to go to school with that guy. He deals meth. So it was like I think he was probably just like evicting all of his cash and getting arrested so that his dealer or his guy didn't kill him was most likely why he was doing that. And that's usually the case for situations like that. All right, I've got a bunch of coffins that need to be finished up. Also, we've got a actually play Dwarf Fortress at some point here. So I'm going to pretend to actually play the video game, okay? Because I built these coffins and then I never activated them, so we got to do that. Also, got to finish up that guild hall. Whenever I get into like telling McDonald's stories, which happens maybe once every 6 months on stream, I always like fail to play the video game for a while. There we go, that'll do it. Okay, where did that strange mood go? It's Bimble, the boyer. Oh, please don't make me a fucking bow and arrow. You want a bow and arrow? Great. Where is the Blair Shop? This is one of these shops that I like, never use. It's the B. Of course. Duh. Absolutely. Of course it's a B. Yeah, last I checked, we live in a world. I don't work at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's. I worked at McDonald's from 2011 until the end of 2018. And then, although by 2016, I basically didn't work there anymore because by 2016, I only worked 2 nights a week. It was my full-time income for a couple of years and then secondary income to support streaming for the last few years. And then, eventually it just ceased to be a format of money that I make. What is that Dwarf doing on that wall? I know that you're just like completely oblivious to reality, Dwarf, but do you have to like be walking the tightrope of my wall next to a like 40 Z level drop? I mean, I guess it was a bit intense. But yes, we do certainly live in a world. This is a fact. Can dwarves fall? I've had dwarves like intentionally commit suicide before. It's quite distressing usually, but I don't think this one will. I think this one's just like walking in circles. I don't know where he went. Uh-oh. Unless he just jumped, that would be concerning. Nope. But a cat is doing battle with Crundles. How adorable. But yes, dwarves can slip and fall. So if you have a lot of ramps, you'll occasionally see dwarves tripping, which is always funny. Yeah, no, I haven't worked at McDonald's in a very long time. Like a very, 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 very long time. Or what feels like a very long time. For me, it's a very long time. But yeah, it's not like it was any big secret. Although I'd say my greatest achievement of my entire career of McDonald's was after I'd quit. I went to PAX East at the beginning of 2019. So this was like, would have been just a couple months after I quit because I quit in the end of 2018. So I went to PAX East at the beginning of 2019, and at PAX East was head of marketing for McDonald's of the US. So American, so different corporation, but like same parent company. He was there. He did a couple talks, and he was looking to sponsor streamers and esports teams. I don't know if that ever ended up. Hey, they claimed a Blair Shop. Sweet. So the Blair Shop got done. I don't know if that ever ended up going anywhere, really. I think they had an esports team for a bit, so probably did. But he was talking to a friend of mine, and I ended up having a conversation with him. And he looks at me and he goes, "You look kind of familiar." I'm like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." Like, "Did you work for McDonald's?" I'm like, "I worked for McDonald's Canada." He goes, "Oh, really? What location?" And I told him what location. He goes, "Oh, I was there at a tour once. Interesting. I might have seen you. Do you still work for the company?" And I go, "No, I quit." And he goes, "Oh, well, shame. Anyway, sounds like you have a cooler job now." So I got to talk with him. So yeah, that was kind of one of the crowning achievements of that entire career, was that I could brag about the fact that I quit McDonald's to stream full time to the head of marketing of McDonald's of US. That or when we were getting renovations in 2014, when they were putting in the automated checkouts and all that shit, right before they fired 30% of the employees. Every single time a McDonald's builds those automated checkouts, they fire like 30% of their employees, by the way. So right before they fired a good deal of the employees, when we were doing the renovations, lobby was closed. So my job was really fucking easy because I just had to show up and clean everything. And once everything was clean, and because lobby was locked, because our parking lot was a clusterfuck, because we were renovating half of our lobby, there was nobody in the lobby. So I would bring my Wii U into work. and plug it into the menu boards, which would automatically switch over to the HDMI port when you plug something into the HDMI port. And we were playing Smash Brothers on the McDonald's menus. Somewhere on one of my old phones, I have a video of me and two of my friends playing Smash Brothers on a McDonald's menu board. Spring has arrived, which is fantastic. So yeah, very proud of that. Also, this is just like some McDonald's lore for you guys. So in my McDonald's that I worked at was one of the oldest ones in BC. It opened in the 80s. Not the first one. It was like the third location or something that opened. And there was a basement, right? There was a basement. My maintenance stuff, all my cleaning supplies was in the basement. There was a wall in the basement that was just kind of strange and kind of looked like it was the... What do you call it? It looked kind of like it was the under the stairs area, like, you know, where Harry Potter used to sleep. And behind the shelf that all my shit was on, no such thing, Star Legend God. Right behind the shelf, you have a good lurk, audio. I'll be on when you get back and whatnot. There was a very suspicious looking panel. And one day when I had not much to do and I was really bored, I moved the shelf and pushed on the panel. It was loose enough that I could unlatch what felt like a door and open it. Guess what was back there? I'm like I'm sure everybody here knows a bit about McDonald's. What do you think was back there, chat? Once I learned what was actually back there, it made a bit more sense. No, it didn't make me quit. I worked for the company for another 5 years after that. But guess what was back there? Still fresh looking burger buns? No, not a freezer. Nope. CIA black site? Pretty much. Something dead? No. Well, maybe some bugs, some spiders, cobwebs. Every single Ronald McDonald statue they had in the history of the store. There was like 24 of them. As well as a bunch of costumes that people used to wear to entertain kids. So, you know, like the Ronald McDonald sitting on the bench statue, there was like 6 of those. One of them was still on a bench. One of them was piled on the one that was still on the bench. And then there was one on the floor, like face down. The ones of him standing like this. The one of him holding the kid's toy. Like, there was like a dozen of, like, there was, I didn't count, but there was a lot of them. Just... some of them like face down, some of them standing, some of them holding things, one of them holding a sign. There was one holding a sign that said drive-through, but it was just all of the old costumes and all face down, still smiling. One of them was like very rotted away. Like most of them were made out of this weird plastic stuff and like, so they'd never really decay, but one of them was made out of this weird styrofoam shit and it had like a bunch of holes in it that looked like moths had like burrowed into it. It was... Anyway, I was like, what the fuck? And I went upstairs and I told my manager, I made him come down and take a look. I was like, look at that. He goes, what the fuck? Like, it was very strange. And then a while later, we had a charity event for Ronald McDonald House at that location. And one of the employees was given an old, like, Grimace, I think was his name, like costume to wear, the purple thing, which was from that room. So somebody knowingly went in there, got that costume, dusted it off, and gave it to my coworker. So whenever you see those costumes, they probably have a room like that full of old Ronald McDonald statues and costumes. And I asked my boss at the time, why are they all in there? And it's because, one, they're collector's items and extremely expensive and people steal them, apparently. And 2, because they're still company property and not for sale. So they lock them away in a place where people don't steal them. Because apparently you can sell them for thousands of dollars to collectors. Why, she told me that. But they sell on eBay for money if they're in good condition. And because they're company property and they don't want people to steal them, they hide them there. You absolutely would have taken one? I would have taken one and beaten it into pieces with a baseball bat. I mean, what? Sold it, yes. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so then I was threatened with being written up for going into a restricted area of the store. How many did I sell? 0. I take transit to and from work, Cramp. How the fuck would I take that to work or get that home? Also, I'm pretty sure that if I'd showed up at home with a Ronald McDonald statue, my ex would have dumped me then and there, which probably would have saved me some pain later in life, but why are you blinking? Left foot is dented and her lower arm is down. Ah, you're fine. All right, so more military dwarves. Feels helping others an imposition on his time, and he is very ambitious. He's always looking away for better the situation while mastering fear when confronted by danger and a friendly individual. Well, you know what? I don't care about your trouble mastering fear. Go join the military. I don't need you. Extremely optimistic, no matter what. Full-hearted. Check some of these blacksmiths, because I don't need this many blacksmiths. Dreams of mastering a skill is scepter with order and structure. Are you brave? Lustful? Yes. Well, it wasn't brave, but was not necessarily a bad military dwarf. A pump operator. Low to anger. Likes to keep things practical. I mean, if they're bad in the military, they'll just die before they're a problem, so. Because I saw it too much? Yeah, pretty much. But, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of, like, the majority of the good stories that I have. And that was, like, after, I don't know, like, 8 years of working nights. And in regards to, your comment, B-Log, about writing this all up into a book and then selling it on Amazon, I don't think anybody would buy it, so what's the point? I really don't think anybody would buy it. It was a good enough title, it would sell. I definitely have enough stories to fill up a book. This is kind of fun. Me and my team have set up sneaky team-only commands so that we can host each other on each other's channels. I can now give myself a host on FG's channel, which is kind of cool. You know, so little time went by when I was telling all those stories that it's been about half a season. Because I was paused for so long. All that shit I saw while working at McDonald's. Well, I mean, I didn't tell any of the grosser stories, like the time I had to clean up, like, a pint of blood in the men's washroom after a knife fight, or the time that the person overdosed and... Oh. So, this is where shit gets dark. By the way, I've seen 3 people die in front of me working at McDonald's. Old man have a heart attack, girl overdose in heroin in the lobby, and girl overdose on probably heroin in the drive-thru. So that's the part where shit gets dark. So it's like, it's not all funny. Like, I've seen people just, like, keel over and die in front of me in McDonald's. But on a lighter note, Bembul the Boyer has created Duzker, a sleek teakwood crossbow, and claims it as a family heirloom. So yeah, like, on the flip side, it's like, yeah, there's all those really goofy fucking stories, but I would actually say the vast majority of the stories I have are just really sad. Smear Waves, a sleek teakwood crossbow, which is worth 4,800 Zethal. This is a sleek teakwood crossbow. Our craftsmanship is of the highest quality. It is decorated with teakwood and encircled with bands of teakwood. This object menaces with spikes of tea wood. You work at a courthouse? Oh yeah, okay, I can see that. Or like the homeless man who we let sleep on the floor in our McDonald's for weeks, months even, because he had a very, very, very bad brain tumor. Like, you could see it. And he was like doing chemotherapy, and then one day just never came back. Like shit like that. Like that's what a lot of my stories are like. Hey, Hobo. We just got telling everybody's favorite McDick stories that you've probably heard before. It's like, Also, a lot of these stories, like, I told them on stream while they were happening, too. Like, years ago, like, when I still worked at that gig, like, I would stream during the afternoon, and, like, on days where I'd be particularly, like, manic, I would just tell these stories. Let's get rid of some of these puppies. They're probably hurting the frame rate. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing. I call it McDicks because I worked there. And my boss was a dick. Or most of the bosses I had were dicks. I mean, like, that is, like I said earlier, Stoned. Most of the best stories I have are good stories, but no, it wasn't fun times. The only good part about it was the stories that I, made along the way. Is that on the surface? Yep. Yeah, no, this is a surface for... Oh, shit, that dwarf finally died. Yeah, no, this is a surface fort. That's the outer wall. Most of the bedrooms are just slightly underground. Some more are down here. I probably don't have enough bedrooms, actually, but... and then this is the library, more bedrooms, tavern, and anything temple. Then down here is farms and foods. Down here is clothing and other armor storage. Excuse me. Down here is temple and stoneworkers guild. Down here's a bunch of dead bodies. And this is where I build my defense drop floors that I drop on baddies' heads. It can go splat. But I don't know if it's a Canadian thing specifically, but everybody that I know who worked there called it McDicks. Or Clown Hell is another thing I've seen. I don't know if it's a Canadian thing specific. I mean, maybe it's a Canadian thing. I don't associate it with it being a specifically Canadian thing. I just associate it with people who work there or worked there. But no, dwarves aren't necessarily supposed to live underground. Dwarves do just fine above ground. It only becomes an issue if you let them live primarily underground for a while. Then they become adapted to living underground, and then they start to vomit when they see the sun. So you can either have like a semi-above ground fort, or you can have a permanently underground fort. And then have trouble every time you go above ground. But by default, dwarves don't mind living above ground. In fact, there's entire groups of dwarves that live in the hillixes. Those are the hill dwarves, and they live in mounds of dirt above ground. Nobody knows about hillixes because nobody, like, plays adventure mode. But, like, there are whole communities of dwarves that live entirely above ground. You're confusing dwarves with gnomes. Gnomes are the permanently underground, only live high up in the mountains creatures in Dwarf Fortress. But in Dwarf Fortress, dwarves are like, they're more human-like, and they're sometimes above ground, sometimes below ground. Calls it McDoof. Like McDoofus? I mean, I guess I could see that. That checks out. Hill dwarves are very important. Yeah, also that barony is still coming. That's weird. I've never seen that before. I guess I should start building space for the Baron. Space for Baron. No, you're a king, the Space Disco Fox. You love gnomes in fantasy, you wish they were more common? Are you that person that has 550, gnome statues? Gnomes are one of those fun things in Dwarf Fortress that you will play for years and never know that there's gnomes in Dwarf Fortress until you look at the wiki. And then you're like, wait, there's gnomes in Dwarf Fortress? Because they will never show up. It's like the stranglers and such. You love that meme? I really like the gnome memes. Those are funny. They amuse the ever-living hell out of me. You mean never know? I hate myself sometimes. The me and me elves are crawling in. So, what can I sell the elves? Gotta be something I can sell them. I don't really have many things that I can reasonably sell the elves. Not safely anyway. You know what? Let's sell them some anvils. Because I don't need to melt them down or anything. I don't need all these iron ones. Also, I'm gonna dig this room out, and this is just gonna be a anybody can sleep there room. I need to use those beds. Not enough dwarves have bedrooms. I don't feel like making more bedrooms. But since he only just tuned in and I kind of glossed over the fact that he showed up, how you doing, Hobo? How's your day been treating you? Hope work's been aight. You just wanted to say the bug vanished? Yay! You know, so Audio Coaster, who I don't think is present currently, posted this. We've updated our privacy policy. I just want to echo that and say I worked 3 shifts at a different location as a temporary worker because their night shift maintenance guy took some extra days off and they needed somebody to fill his shifts in until their other guy could fill in. So I worked some shifts at a different store once. And in the women's washroom and the men's washroom, in the pooper stalls, they had half of the stall cut off. So full-size door at the front, but you could just like walk in the front door and see somebody pooping right there. Their logic was it stopped people from shooting up. I think the result was just nobody used the restroom, and people who wanted to shoot up would just go in there and shoot up anyway, but... First day back. Yesterday was your first day sober in a week, so slow day. I get you. I hope that your staycation was good, though. Sorry for kind of just, like, not reaching out over the weekend to play Back 4 Blood. We need to do that, though. I ended up being way busier than I expected. I ended up visiting my Oma and then getting trucked around by my mom 2 days in a row to help her transport dirt. Good news is, though, I now have a fully planted, sprouted, germinated, sprouted, and planted set of pink apricot seeds. So, fingers crossed. Hopefully those turn out happy. They haven't turned into seedlings yet, but yeah, fingers crossed. They've got a little piece of plastic over them to help them greenhouse on my windowsill. It's just a blissful haze of not doing much. All right, let's sell some anvils to the elves. Did they bring anything fun? Sparrow? What's that? Oh, shit! They brought a giant... we need to buy that giant moth. We need to buy that giant moth and just let it fly around so that it can be our mascot. What do you guys think? Yeah, we need to buy that giant... I hope I can afford it. How much is the giant moth? Oh, that's cheap. $5.10. Yeah, we can afford it. Perfect. I mean, the fortress is Mothfall, so naturally we need to buy the moth. Oh, I know that they don't fly, but I'm still gonna take it and put it in my tavern. It'll run around like a dog. Maybe I'll just keep it in the cage even. Was you hit level 20 in Borderlands 3? Is that a lot? I don't actually know. Is that a big number? I played a little bit of Borderlands 1 once. Well, this is true. Moths fall, not fly. So a body was found not too long ago. I wonder why or whose body that was. Concern. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. Well, they're not automatically assigning the coffins anymore. That means that everybody's been buried, so that's good. But to anybody who's just tuning in, plan for the stream is look at the clock. We'll probably do another hour of this, and then we're going to start playing a game that is on Game Pass that I want to play for a few reasons called Norco. It's kind of a point-and-clicky adventure thing, but the soundtrack is done by the band Thou, which is a doom/sludge/black metal band, depending on the weekend, that I really like, and it just looks really cool. It looks really trippy, and apparently the writing is really, really good. So apparently it's about 6 hours, so I think we can finish it either, if not tonight, then tomorrow. So that's the plan for the next few days. So looking forward to that. That's the plan for today, pretty much. You got an eagle from the elves, and it walks around like a chicken. Yeah, I got an eagle from the elves in Long Death, and it did similar things. Or rather, I've also been given several as pets. Yeah, I don't know. The coolest like flying creature I ever had in a fort was one of my charity streams for one of my birthdays. I want to say it was 2 years ago now. The first one I did. I had, because I always generate a specific fort for that world and just play that world the one day. But the outpost liaison for that faction was a necromancer experiment. And it just flew onto the map, and because I didn't have a public tavern, it flew to the highest possible tile in the center of the map and just sat there. Just hung out. Spotted were creatures. Never moved. Just sat at the top Z level of the map, in the center of the map, and just sat there. It was creepy as fuck, but also kind of badass. And then whenever it was time to trade, it would flap down, trade with the dwarves, and then fly back up. It was like this weird feathery humanoid dwarf thing with wings. It's pretty rad, actually. Also, very cool that it was able to integrate into society. You could even make a Mothfall. Don't suggest such a horrible thing. Moths don't deserve that. So yeah, that was one of the coolest instances of a flying creature I've had in Dwarf Fort. Also, I've just got to say that we're getting close to April 20th, and I live in Canada. I don't want to even, like, begin to explain how many various, like, emails I'm getting about deals on weed and weed accessories. Checking my email is dangerous currently. Birds getting tired of flying, just lying down in an empty midair, become invulnerable. Personally, you find that annoying. Hold on a second. Birds getting tired of flying, lying down in midair, become invulnerable. That is the most Dwarf Fortress sentence I think I've read all day. I'm almost flabbergasted by that. Yeah, but like I never even contemplated that as a thing that could happen. But like I almost never do any kind of ranged combat things. Like in adventure mode, I'm just like a you in the face kind of person, not really wield a crossbow kind of person. Very much or a bow and arrow or whatever. Very much a like bop the guy in the face and hope that he starts to bleed kind of person. You know what? How about I just put a big old corpse pile like right here. That'll speed things up, I think. But yeah, no, that has to be the most dwarf fortressy thing I've heard in a long time. All right, I'm going to take a real quick break, chat. I got to go use the restroom. I'll let you guys just watch the dwarves build this stuff. I will be back in a moment. Game's running a little slow, so not too much should happen while I'm gone. Could I get a round of beers? I'll be back in a few seconds. what's the question? Hold up, just bring the desk down. What's the question, Flaming Kitties? In your Fortress 1 adventure doing a one-man military squad, you got him to complete a complete flashing metal armor set and axe. And you got all the combat skills at legendary, can solo demons without a sweat. In adventure mode, you don't know about. I wouldn't trust it in Fortress mode. You might just get obliterated. Although what I would do is in Fortress mode, just copy your save file and test it, see if you can. I'd be curious to know, actually. Is it possible to expand your embark zone once you've already embarked? Nope. Once you've embarked, you've embarked. Once you've embarked on the size that you've embarked on the size that you've embarked on, and that's the size of that fort. I also don't think, yeah, and if you re-embark, you don't get the opportunity to do that again. Yeah. But once you've embarked, you've embarked. That's it. Made your decision. Womp womp. Sorry about that. Apologies to disappoint. All right. Reg the jeweler cancels sleep, reason seeking infant. So you were going to go to bed, but then you had a baby, so you can't go to. Okay, that makes sense. Yep. Largest embark with frequent freezes, which can last even 30 minutes. Oh wow. Okay. Flowing lava into caverns from one zone into another is to blame. Not pathing of animals, I think. I mean, lots of things are to blame in that, but that sucks, dude. That sucks. 30 minutes, that's intense. Maybe that's why people think that Dwarf Fortress just like breaks constantly. TLDR, I wouldn't do the largest possible embark. There's a warning screen on that for a reason. But that's just my opinion. You do you. It never really struck me as worth it. The issues that you get with that. It's really weird seeing a LEGO game do extremely well, but apparently that most recent LEGO game is really good. Apparently. It's a lot of land to run. Yeah, sometimes I'll increase the size just slightly, but I don't know. I've always found it to be more than big enough. I have a feeling that's going to cause problems with the Steam version. Like, I almost feel like they should just disable the largest possible embark unless, like, you change some settings or something. Because I would actually be worried about people just cranking the size up to maximum and be like, game runs butts on bad, brr, and then uninstall. Which would be a concern that I would have. Like, genuinely. That is a concern that I kind of have. He's got to burn lots of smoke everywhere. Smoke doesn't cause lag in and of itself, but it blocks pathing. So yeah, that does cause issues. But liquids and like gases don't actually cause lag themselves. No such thing as a stupid question in Dwarf Fortress. Visitors to your library will absent-mindedly steal your books. Yes, they will walk in, pull out a book, and then be like, cool book. Walk away with it. They will absolutely do that, yes. Prismatic Flux, how is you? Good day. Question regarding coffins and burying. A number of your dwarves died, okay. You let the rest build enough coffins and activated them for burial. Now they buried every dead dwarf except one child that got killed and is now lying around in the refuse pile, but nobody is willing to bury it. Two questions. Question number one, did you build enough coffins? I know that that's the obvious question, but if no, you might like check that. But the other thing is hit O, go to the orders menu, hit R, go to the refuse menu, and just make sure that they have dwarves gather refuse from outside. Because once a body Once a body rots, it goes from being a corpse to being refuse, right? Once it becomes refuse, if it's outside, by default, they ignore it. So if your corpse pile is in the outdoors, by default, they will ignore it and not bury it and just not acknowledge it. So I would make sure that it's set so that they will gather refuse from outside, if it's outside. Set that, and if that doesn't fix it, then I have another possibility, but let me know if that fixes it. Oh, no! I mean, here's the thing. You say that you're a new player, or were you just saying that you're new here? Newer player? Like, if you've got written books in your fortress, like, you know exactly what you're doing. You're doing well. But, all the more reason to keep refuse piles inside? I mean, sure. The nice thing is, like, visiting, librarians and scholars will sometimes also bring and leave books, so you also need to keep that in mind. Like, it is a library, so... You just Googled it? Oh, well. I mean... There's worse things it could have been. Wait, like, as in you just Googled Dwarf Fortress and started playing it for the first time? Or did you Google the issue? Gotta get another game going. Hell yeah. It's always a good time to play Dwarf Fort. We got, like, I don't know, like 15, 20 minutes of Dwarfs left in today's stream, and then we're going to be swapping games for the rest of the stream. Oh, how to do a library? I mean, that's how you figure stuff out in Dwarf Fortress, is just go to the wiki and type it in, or go to Google and type it in and watch a tutorial, or read an old article, or read the wiki, or whatever. But there's so many people that are like, DIY's impossible, game's complicated, blah, 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 and then they just like fall into a puddle of mud on the ground and cry about how complicated the game is. Whereas you're just like, man, I Googled it. Now you're doing one of the most complicated tasks in Dwarf Fort. Good for you. Good for you. Never survived more than 2 years anyways. That's fine. that time will extend itself. Eventually you'll be building whole layers of floors and caving them in on goblins too, just like me. Which is what we're doing right now. This is a very elaborate murder device that makes everything down here become very flat goblin pancakes. DF becomes a very smooth, emotional roller coaster ride, and it's been fixed with food. That has been fixed with food and brew. Yeah. Let's channel all the way over here. Yep. Come on, Darren. Keep a mining. Is that what I'm building? Yep. I mean, this will be the fourth one I draw. The last time I did it, I just kind of didn't say anything. I just kind of like set it all up and then pulled the lever and it just went and smashed on everything. And immediately when I did that, half of chat was like, what the fuck did you just do? Because they're just like, oh, you're going to fight, right? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'm totally going to like send my military. And then just like the whole like screen just explodes. And I was like, what the fuck was that? It's like, well, I mean, I'm just kind of like slowly caving in like multi-layers of just death. In fact, I'm going to have a double shot, one above it, once this one's done. Although this needs to get made first. So someone needs architecture. So I'd give it to Stone, but she's kind of locked in her own section of the fort. What? Oh, you're just nuts. Never mind. You know what? I'm just going to let you be my architect. And I'm going to... I don't think I need to give you masonry. I think that you can just go do this. Let's find out. Man, a Dwarf Fortress is fantastic. It's a fantastic game. And if you're new here, because I just noticed that I've gotten a couple follows in the last 20 minutes. I stream 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and I stream about 12 to 14 hours those 3 days. And I also have a bunch of stuff on YouTube. I've been, well, let's see, I've got about 90 videos about the Steam version of Dwarf Fortress now. Also, all of my Dwarf Fortress VODs go up there. Plus, there's 7 videos with the Adams brothers, or one with Zach and Tarn, and 6 with me and Tarn, just talking about Dwarf Fortress. We do them about every 4 months. We, like, I have them on the channel, and we just sit around and talk about Dwarf Fortress and answer questions for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's kind of like, I got really sad that DF Talk kind of went away, so I just, like, replaced it with my own show. So there's never been a better place to watch DF, I would say. Hopefully the next one that we do is talking about how the launch went for Steam version. That's kind of my hope. Or an announced release date. That's kind of my hope. Considering like that Fortress mode is getting kind of polished. But yes, just another reason to love DF. I sometimes do interviews with Tarn. You know why that is, Stone? It's because nobody else has sent him an email and asked. It's like, I don't know. I feel bad saying that, but he's just like not a hard guy to get in contact with and pretty open to just kind of doing shit. So, I don't know. Also, Cutest, I see you saw that article about the NFT game. Did you not know that there was a Formula 1 NFT game? They announced that, like, at the beginning of last season, and it ran throughout last season. Like, I remember I got an email about that once, and was like, oh, grown, moves on. But there was a Formula 1 NFT game that started last year at the beginning, or I guess the year before, at the beginning of the Formula 1 season last year, and it just shut down, and all the tokens are worthless. You love F1? You should join my Discord and sit in the Speedy Chats and Speedy Tracks and Zooms room and talk with F1 about us during the races, or talk with us about F1 during the races. I can't talk today apparently, but you know we watch the races and blab about it on Discord. No problem. All right, Kala, just shout at me if you need more help, or join the Discord and yell in the Dwarf Fort room and we'll help. Either way. Yeah. How about, let me fix that sentence for you, Bob. Don't mind this. Because of time zones. So you're not like me and wake up at fuck off in the morning? That's my solution. It sucks. But, although the next race is going to be great because it's in Australia, which means I get to like wake up at a reasonable hour. Being a West Coast F1 fan is hard. Hobo complains that actually, I don't know if he complains, but Hobo's like, oh my God, I have to wake up at 7 in the morning for this race. I'm like, dude, I have to get up at 4 or 3. I'm so happy that we don't have to deal with another fucking Sochi race, because that shit was just like, I have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning for the least interesting track on the calendar. But I always did it. I always like half awake, like lay in bed going, why am I doing this to myself? Fell asleep halfway through, I think, every single time. Fuck Sochi, that was a terrible race. Wanted to go see Monza, but you didn't have enough time. Oh, really? Oh, so I get you. I get you. I mean, that's. I would love to go to. I would actually. I wouldn't want to go to Monza during an F1 race because too many people, and I don't like that kind of huge crowds really. But I would love to just see that track. I'd love to just go there. Not really Formula One, but Formula E World Championships are happening in Vancouver, and I've tricked a friend into going with me who doesn't watch any kind of motorsports. And my dad is probably gonna go as well, just to go, like, because he's my dad's an engineer, so he's like kind of obsessed with electric vehicles and that sort of stuff. So he just wants to go watch those cars. It's like it's a 20-minute train. It's about a 45-minute train ride from where I live, and tickets are $50. So I'm like, I could go see a Formula E race for $50 and $2 in like bus fare. You fucking bet. The only thing that's holding up it up is this. This is a pillar. I connect this pillar to a lever, pull a lever, and pillar collapses, and the whole thing just goes. So the only thing holding it up is that one pillar. I could add in more pillars if I wanted it to be more realistic or believable. That's all it is. So I just wait until the baddies are underneath it, and I pull a lever in the mayor's office, and it all just goes crunch and smashes stuff into oblivion. Beautiful. Yeah, it's super simple. And I'm also cooking up another one right here. So I'm going to... So this is Splat Zone 1. I'm going to make another lever right here and call it Splat Zone 2. The sequel to Splat Zone, of course. Splat Zone 2. So that's launcher number 2. So I pull the first one. If the first one doesn't do it enough, then I pull the second one. Sorry, we should smash them into Morrowind so that they have more fun. How's that? I mean, if I feel like being real mean, I could, like, splat them into Skyrim. Or that one pirate. What was the name of that game? Hold on. Pirate Elder Scrolls. What was the name of that? Yeah, it wasn't. What was it? No, it was the Elder Scrolls on Xbox. Hold on, Xbox exclusive Elder Scrolls. No, not 6. Redguard, was that the name of it? Okay, we're gonna banish them into Redguard. Elder Scrolls, Redguard. Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yes. Elder Scrolls at Redguard. That's the name of it. Came out in 1998. The Elder Scrolls game nobody remembers except for Space Pirate, apparently. Yeah, the third-person pirate Elder Scrolls. Yes, this. That is what I was thinking of. So we're going to, instead of smashing them into Oblivion, we're going to smash them into Redguard, because nobody comes back from Redguard. People who go to Redguard just kind of get sad and die. Wild? Yeah, right? Are your favorite in Elder Scrolls? Yes, but Redguard, if that's your favorite Elder Scrolls game, I question your taste in video games, but respect it, because it's a deep cut. But I would very much question. You've never heard of it? Good. Most people haven't. But then again, a lot of people haven't even heard of Daggerfall these days. Why is my mayor fighting with a cave crocodile? Especially considering the cave crocodile appears to be winning. I should make us some new clothing. Because I've seen a bunch of shitty old clothing. Let's see how much cloth we have, actually. 765. Okay, that's good. A lot of cave spider silk. And linen cloth, and fabric, and pig... Okay, sweet. No, D&D, or not, it's not, I mean, maybe it's based on a rule set or something, or inspired by Gristith, but no, Daggerfall is, Elder Scrolls 2. It's like a mid-90s thing. Yeah, if Morrowind came after Daggerfall. I'm not sure the name of the... There are D... To be fair, a lot of D&D names sound very similar to Elder Scrolls names. Dream of mastering a skill and but you're brave and imminent danger. Okay, well. Military? Morrowind is what I would call the last great Elder Scrolls game, and I don't like any of them, but... it was the only Elder Scrolls game that I could say that I actually enjoyed the time that I played without, like, a big asterisk. I would also say that I enjoyed Skyrim, but I didn't actually enjoy playing Skyrim. I enjoyed modding Skyrim for a time. Yeah, it's the case for a lot of people. But, like, this dwarf came from a previous dwarf. Alarmed after seeing the Minotaur, Emudi, might play to die. Dreams of raising a family often falls in love. I don't think that this bookbinder would be very good in the military. Flimsy's got nothing. They'll train up. That's like saying that I'm very flimsy. If I actually went to the gym instead of like just doing minor mini workouts in my apartment, I would also be less flimsy. Slow to anger, overinflated sense of self-worth. This is generally unhindered by the thoughts of others. Yeah, you'll be fine. We have a blue Peachick. Doesn't handle stress well. Well, butts. Okay. Light green diamond, walnut wood, crystal glass, and hemp paper. Well, okay. So let's get you into weaving and clothes making, and also leatherworking and stone crafting. A bunch of helpful-ish tasks and let you go about your day. Very ambitious, always looking for a way to better her situation. Seeks out exciting and adventurous situations. Congratulations, Herbalist. You're now the leader of the mechanical convents. Go start teaching other people how to hit things. I mean, Skyrim was fine. I played it for about 40 hours and enjoyed it, and then my older sister played another 100 hours on my account. I never actually finished the campaign. I played some of the alternate, like the guild quest lines. I did the Thieves Guild. I did the... What was the Sword and Board Big Brrrah Guild, guys? I did that. I did the Assassin's Guild, which I can't remember the name of, and then I became a vampire, and it was basically like me being a creepy stalker simulator as a vampire for about 10 hours, and then I spent about 10 hours modding it And then yeah, I did Dark Brotherhood, and then I modded it a bunch. I did so I can't remember. I don't know what I guess the companions. I don't know the name of that guild, but the closest guild to the start of the area. I did the Dark Brotherhood quest line, and I did the Thieves Guild quest line, and then I modded the game and added a bunch of fucked up spells and like Thomas the Tank engines and memes and like talking crabs and crap into that game. And then I uninstalled it, and then my older sister, like 2 years later, was like, "Hey, you have Skyrim on your computer?" I was like, "Yeah, here, fucking play," while I go out and do other things with my friends. So play. So the majority of the hours on my account is actually my older sister, not me. It's fine. I talk shit about that game because I don't think it's a very good RPG, but as a game, it's fine. Unbelievably stubborn and will stick with the most futile action once her mind is made up. Oh my god, you sound like a flat earther. Extremely confident in situations requiring her skills, personally strongly values tranquility and quiet, and hates those that wield power over others. Well then, go topple some masters by killing people. Dreams of mastering a skill is an optimist. Tends to be a little wasteful when working on projects, slow to trust others, and occasionally overindulges. Passive in discussions, has little interest in joking around, and tends to hang on to grievances, lives a fast-paced life, is not particularly interested in what others think of him. You know, so I just had a thought, chat room. You know how my faction is, like, landlocked in the mountains? That barony is traveling. Do you think that they can't get over the mountains to come and send the Baron here? So the Baron is traveling because the Baron's never going to make it here because they're stuck on the other side of an impassable mountain range? It's just a theory as to why there would be like a Baron listed as traveling. You did too, but on purpose. You dressed up in black robes and everything because it was on a university. Okay, well, that makes sense, Hobo. Hobo just has black robes around because he's a fan of a particular metal band. Although I think this would have been before then. Since I started, well, they trade with me every year. So, yes. Like, I've never had a problem trading with the Mountain Homes, but I've also never seen a Baron listed as traveling before. Like, I've never seen them up at the top there, which is weird. And no, I didn't have one that I banished or anything. Always was a thing? Literally, this is something I've never seen before. I've never seen... I forget that this menu has mouse control. I've never seen a Baron listed as a Baron for your fortress traveling. I've never seen this before. I've had them living at other settlements and all sorts of stuff like that before, but I've never had them listed as traveling before. All right, there we go. Stockpiled up my military a bit more, which is better. Dwarves are starting to transport bodies down here underneath this. Because this is what it needs, is what it is. Probably sewed up your first set around. Wow. Damn. Yeah, you've been at that for a while then. Yeah, trying to think, like, what's the... Because I have worn stuff like that before. But for me, it was, like, actually religious shit. They made me do that shit. Happy I don't go to church anymore. Don't miss it. Probably works for some people, but not me. Cancel store item. Interrupted by crocodile. Yes, there we go. All it. Never worn any robes, though? I was raised Lutheran and had to wear robes for 2 different specific events. These days, I'm very much agnostic. Do not care. I'm sure they'll kill that crocodile. Sure they got this. Yeah, these days, I don't care what religion you follow, but if your religion tells you to kill people, you're in the wrong religion. That's my general practice. It's like, I don't care if you're a Satanist or a Catholic or Muslim or Sikh. Worship what makes you feel good. Just don't kill people. Just crocodiles? I mean, it depends. Do you have a license? Are you like a professional crocodile hunter like that show on History Channel? If so, then yeah, it's probably fine to kill crocodiles. But like, I don't think you should just like walk out in your backyard and shoot a crocodile. Actually, let's ask our local crocodile correspondent, Stone Hobo. If there's a crocodile in your swimming pool in Florida, do you shoot it or do you call somebody to remove it? I'm also not referring to iguanas, because iguanas, yeah, you just like, you know, shoot it with a BB gun, right? That's generally a good standard to follow. I don't know, you'd be surprised. Some people are like oddly picky about what's the correct and incorrect religion. I saw, this actually reminds me of a thing completely unrelated but more Canadian. There was a video I saw on Reddit this morning while I was trying to get out of bed. Which was on maybe /r maybe, and it was like this lady, she's like carrying a bag of like this big old bag with a full of apples, and just like walks over to her car and like pulls open the door with her foot and then drops the bag of apples, screams, tries to push the door shut, falls on her butt, stands up, tries to grab the bag of apples, which has already dumped apples everywhere, and then runs back into her house, and a bear comes out of her car, who's like terrified, like, then starts to run away, then turns around and goes, oh, look, apples. Comes back and starts eating apples. Which is like the Canadian version of like having a crocodile in your pool, I think. Depending on the size, last time you got your pool skirmish mesh thing and just pulled it out and threw it in the canal. Oh, really? Must have been if you just pulled a crocodile out of your pool and threw it in the canal behind the house, that must have been a really small crocodile. I don't know why, but that's reminding me of that video that went viral like mid-2020 of that, I don't know what the last 2 years were, so it might have been last year even, 2020 or 2021, where that guy's just like, there's just like a crocodile in their driveway, and he just like grabs a garbage bin and like slams it on the ground and like shoves it in the face of the crocodile and like pushes the crocodile into the thing by like shoving it up against the wall. It was like, I don't know, the size of your leg maybe. It's like this big, like pretty big animal, and staring at him. He just like forces it into this garbage bin, flips up the garbage bin and slams the lid shut and pushes it away. It's like, all right, another day at the office, I guess. Arm length, pretty small crocodile. I mean, I wouldn't want to get bit by it, but yeah, okay, that's not too bad. It's just a BB. Also, speaking of people who know what giant scary creatures are. Hi, Anander, how are you? You're just like crocodiles, goddamn pansies. You have octopuses that'll kill you with a poisonous hook. And trees that want you dead. So, you know. The good stuff, pretty much. That charity thing that I'm doing, Smartian, has the goal doesn't matter and there's no end date. It's still be there until it doesn't need to be there anymore. And I'm pretty much committing to throwing at least $50 a month of my own money into it, which isn't much, but I also don't have a ton, so I'm doing what I can. Drop bears, aka koalas. Are they dangerous or just really, really stupid? Because I think that they're mostly just really, really stupid. Man, do you remember when like the worst thing going on in the world was forest fires in Australia? God, simpler times. They have sharp claws, but really they just sleep 20 hours a day. I kind of thought, I've always thought of koalas as like slightly faster, slightly louder, slightly more enthusiastic about life sloths. They're both dangerous and stupid. The danger isn't because they're stupid, but because they're easy to anger and rather violent when angry. Okay. They're also like cute and people are stupid and tourists probably try to pet them. Just like bears are cute and people are stupid and tourists try to pet them. Speaking of like Australia, right now I'm organizing a podcast recording time for a guy in Finland, a guy in Canada, me, and a guy in New Zealand, which is like, okay, it's like what time? It's like 1 a.m. for the guy in Finland, 10 a.m. for the guy in New Zealand, and I don't actually know what time that is for me, so I need to figure that out. People try to pet bears. There's a video from a while ago, and I do mean a while ago because this was like flip phone era, so it's like 160p or something, of a guy on the Coquihalla Highway, which is the highway that goes over the Rocky Mountains in BC, close to the truck stop. It's two Australian tourists, and they're just walking up to this. Yeah, that's where I'm gonna be playing it too. Pablo walks and they're just walking up to him and they're like, oh, he's so cute, look at this bear, and they're like trying to feed it a sandwich or something. They're like trying to feed it something, and this bear is just like sitting there, and then it like stands up on its hind legs and the video ends and they both died. Yeah. Hey, look, this zoo has 3 separate... Unib, the clother, was found dead? Sorry, what? Oh. Someone... Okay, so I think I've just determined, chat, that the cave crocodiles are a big enough of a threat that I should set up some cave traps here. Let's make 30 rock mechanisms and set up some cave traps, because somebody finally died. Also, seems like this cave crocodile now has a name because... Stone, could you translate this name? Igalotion. Igalotion? Igalotion. Its teeth is gone. Her teeth is gone. In case you missed it, chat. Her teeth is gone. I don't know why that is funny to me, but her teeth is gone. Poland is helping most of the Ukrainian refugees. Your government is doing a special financial support for 2.3 million. Yeah, I've been reading about that. And then going to full school work. They even get Polish Social Security and get benefits? Fuck yeah. Well, that's good. I live very far away, so can't actually do anything. So thus, I just throw money in the general direction because it's literally all I can do. Well, you know, as somebody who exists on the internet, all I can really do is encourage people to do the same. I want to know what that is in Canadian dollars. I'm just going to look that up. Hold up. 147 Canadian dollars. Yeah, that checks out. Also, shoutouts to this cat that's just that just ran past the crocodile. Watch a surgery demonstration. Oh man, I'm sure that's cheerful. All right, so the thing I gotta do here, because this is pretty much good to go, you... Oh, well, okay. Gotta do that. This elderly who do not want to leave their home and stay and get killed is sad. Yeah, no, it's horrible. It's just like, for me, I've got people that watch this stream on both sides of the border. Speaking of a really easy way to help people in Ukraine, actually, if you want to, go buy Stalker. Stalker 1, 2, and 3 are like $8 on Steam right now. Or rather, Stalker, Stalker Clear Sky, and Stalker Call of Pripyat are like $8 on Steam right now, and all the profits goes to Come Back Alive. So, just, I mean, if you've ever wanted to buy Stalker, now's the time. It's very cheap, and it's probably some of the best value you could get for that currently. By 10 goblins? Oh no, you poor baby. Whatever will you do? There's 10 old goblins besieging your fort. Also buy V-Bucks? I mean, yeah, I guess you could also buy V-Bucks. But then you have to play Hobo. Who are you and what have you done with Hobo? You're telling people to buy V-Bucks. Times change, man. But yeah, yes, you could. Well, actually, I think that ended. That might have ended because I saw a bunch of articles saying that it ended like the other day. So, yeah, it ended on the 3rd of April. And they raised 144 million. PlayStation isn't giving their cut. Fuck Sony. Yeah, 144 million. And it ended on the 3rd. So, I mean, shoutouts to Tim Sweeney. I don't think I ever thought I would. I didn't think I'd ever say. What was I going to do? Oh, right, great. But because of Fortnite, video games is the number one, is the largest amount of money, or video games as an industry as a whole has raised the most money for the Ukrainian war effort that isn't a government. So out of all industries that are currently donating profits, making charitable donations, video games as a whole, as an industry, has donated the largest sum of money to benefit people fleeing and the military in Ukraine. Out of every industry in the world, video games as an industry has donated the most. Governments, there are governments that have donated more because they've donated in the billions, right? But video games is the largest lump sum of money from any non-government based industry, which is kind of wild. Oh yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me at all. They only pressed about 500 of those. Rhinestone. I don't believe they've repressed that one. I know they've repressed You'd Prefer an Astronaut once or twice, Ryan. But I don't believe they've ever repressed that one. Although, admittedly, that is my least favorite album of theirs. Also, hey Ryan, how are you? Hope your day has been well. Yeah, go sock those goblins in the nose, Anander. You show them. Oh my god. Oh, did they? Okay, I was unaware that they repressed that one. 250 bucks? Really? Seems steep. I know that the last time I looked on Discogs, You'd Prefer an Astronaut on vinyl was the cheapest pressing I could find was a poor quality with no like cover. It was like just the record in a blank sleeve, which was $100. So I bought the CD directly from their website. I was like, you know what? If I'm gonna get a copy of this album, I'll just get the fucking CD. That's fine. I will survive. I don't feel like spending like hundreds of dollars on a super limited, poor quality pressing of this. Just kind of seemed like an unwise purchase. You just thought of me when you saw it hanging up there? Yeah. You know what I really need to buy, Ryan? I need to get me a copy of, or one of those private pressings of Polygon of Wonderland. Because there's a bunch of them on Discogs that are actually like affordable, like 15, 20 bucks. Because I could play it on stream. Because that whole album is public domain. The reason I haven't done it yet is because it's also like probably not, it's not my favorite King Gizzard record, and it's like, it'd just be fun to be able to play it more than anything. I have a question. Like, this is actually like straight up just war footage, but I posted, like, be wary about clicking this link because it is actual war footage. But this footage is bonkers. It's like aerial footage of a tank assaulting a Russian line, and it looks like Steel Division or one of those other games. It's wild, actually. You introduced your dad to King Gizzard? I showed my dad King Gizzard the Nonagon Infinity, which is the probably the best record I have by them, and he said that they are fun. Oh, also, my dad really, I think I maybe told you this. My dad likes idols and asks me to put them on when he comes over sometimes. I showed him Flying Microtonal Banana. Probably not the easiest King Gizzard album to start on, but it's a good one. It's a good one. It's a good one. Can confirm it's good. But yeah, no, the world is fucking scary right now. And I've tried my best to like not just be sitting here talking about war all the time, even though it's like constantly on my mind. Unless chat wants to talk about it. Like, it's scary shit. And the thing that I like to remind people is like, there are Russian submarines just off the coast of Canada. Like, if they decided to go after the States and they decided to start bombing people, Vancouver is just north of Seattle. Please don't fire nukes. This is the furthest backwards the entire planet has gone as a whole in the last 40 years, in my opinion. It's fucking disappointing. Nonagon because they had it, but you bought Freeman Music Company record, and you're incredibly lacking in Afrobeat, Afrofunk? Gotcha. I have bad news, Ryan. And also just for chat in general, although this was posted on Discord, I just don't know if you noticed, but we lost Discord partner. Which means we no longer have the highest quality audio, so if I were to stream records on my Discord server, they would sound like shit. Sad. So we have one option now if we want to be able to do that again at the same level of quality, which is boost up to top level, which requires 4 more boosts. So, I don't know. The fact that there's like 10 people boosting my Discord server is already kind of crazy to me, but like, sucks. That's awful, Anander. How much better is Vancouver than Seattle? I don't know. I don't live in Seattle. What kind of a question is that? I live in Canada in Vancouver, not in America in Seattle. I mean, I've visited Seattle for PAX a couple of times. It seems very similar to Vancouver, except there's American flags all over the place, except instead of the occasional Canadian flag. Canadians are pretty sparing about how often we wave the flag. Aside from that, Seattle seems quite similar to Vancouver. They're both expensive, tech-heavy cities with pretty much the same climate. I don't know. Like, what kind of question do I say? Like, how do I answer that? I don't know. I don't really have much of an opinion on Seattle. It's like I've been there maybe half a dozen times for events or to hang out with friends. Like, I don't really go down to Seattle very often. That's a username. Thanks, Anonymous, for gifting a sub. Cheers. Jack, can I get a round of beers to get that username off my screen so I don't need to stare at it anymore? That'd be cool. Cheers, lads.
Many people ask me, Nikita, will we the блин.
But yeah, no, I also only 2 boosts needed now. Yay! The saddest part is like my favorite mug is a Discord mug, but I'm not going to use it because I'm not a Discord partner anymore. It also means I'm officially an imposter and a poser whenever I wear either of my Discord hoodies. Sad. Also only 2 boosts needed. Well, that's cool. Means I could boost it up for $6.98. Cool. Interrupted by a monitor lizard. Stop monitoring that lizard. Co7, rip co-sub. You headed to bed? Or are you just saying co7 sleepy emote? I hope Co actually streams Dwarf Fortress when it comes out. He did say he would at TwitchCon. But Woodcrafter attacks the monitor lizard, but she jumps away. Well, that's good. Smart monitor lizard. What? Marked wooden grate. Is there a difference between a... But... I just made... Okay, I'm so confused. Did I make grates or did I not? All right. Weird. But, you know. I'm trying to, like... I've kind of, like, exhausted a lot of the bullshit, that I normally ramble about, so I've just ran out of shit to talk about right now. I don't know why. Which happens sometimes. Sometimes I just, like, collide with the head empty, cannot brain. And that's me at this exact moment in time. So yes, head empty, cannot brain. Really want to get this finished. This does take a long time to reset. That's like the biggest issue I have with this defense system. It's very efficient and kind of hilarious when it goes off, but it's very slow to refresh. It just takes so long. God, I've got so many recruits. You know, Tarkov is still being sold price in America. You wonder if Nikita leaves that money in American dollars. Yeah, I was kind of thinking about asking that myself, but I don't know. Tarkov is one of those games that I would actually be really concerned about playing right now. Like, if I was a Tarkov streamer, I would be doing some soul searching as to whether or not I'd keep streaming Tarkov, but I'm not a Tarkov streamer. I also don't play Tarkov, so... Makes my life a lot easier, but yeah. Stop fiddling with this. But you got to also remember that that studio is a company and not just one person, so. Also, they can't exchange it for Russian money right now. Like, they literally just can't. I don't know where he lives. I mean, if he's in Russia and lives in Russia, then yeah, they literally can't. I would assume he is, because the studio that makes, like, Tarkov is Russian, are they not? Oh, what's that? Blue blinky light. Disappeared. We missed it. Probably a blue jay or something. Maybe officially, but I thought that, like, their offices, like, I mean, in the same way that any company could, like, oh, what was it? Isn't it, like, Activision Blizzard Kings, like, technically based in Ireland, even though all of their offices and employees are in California? But technically they're based in Ireland because it's a tax haven? But I don't know. They're having their office in Russia? Yeah, at that point, like, if I was a Tarkov person, I would just probably stop streaming Tarkov entirely. But that's just me. And then there's, like, weirder situations like Stone Shard, where, like, the studio that makes it is head officed in Russia and based out of Russia, but about half of the employees working there are in Ukraine. So they're unable to do any work at all, which is a weird situation. Man, this stream, like, an hour and a half ago, I was rambling about the dumbest fucking McDonald's stories from when I worked in fast food, and now we're just, like, all somber. What died there? Oh, maybe that was the crocodile. It's probably the crocodile. Man, these are going to be the mentally toughest dwarves on Earth by the time this is all done. Yeah, I mean, you know, play the game that you paid for, but, like, I'm not going to judge you. Don't worry. This is exactly the same way as I feel about, or a very similar way to the way I feel about World of Warcraft and Blizzard games right now. It's like, if you bought them and you play them, like, just keep playing them. But, like, from an influencer's perspective, or a person with influences perspective, I would stop. Just like if I was a World of Warcraft streamer, I probably would have quit World of Warcraft the literal second all of those lawsuits happened with Activision, because I wouldn't want to promote that studio, right? From, like, just from a professional perspective. So, you know. That, or if I was a Tarkov streamer, I would stop streaming Tarkov, buy all of the Stalker games, and become a full-time Stalker streamer. And just mod the crap out of Stalker and play Stalker. It's a weird time. It really is. Summer's arrived on the calendar. So it takes about 2 to 3 seasons for us to reset this, which is pretty brutal, actually. Also, there's the part where we have to rebuild all the blocks. Gonna build a bunch more granite blocks. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird situation. Lots of weird situations right now, though. Or jumping between Elden Ring and Tarkov and a few other games. Yeah, I mean, like, that's also, like, the other thing that I didn't mention is, like, that would be kind of like me stopping playing Dwarf Fortress, which would very much impact my income in a large way, you know? Fortunately, I'm lucky enough that Zach and Tarn are lovely people, and I don't really have to worry about having to suddenly stop playing Dwarf Fortress for some reason, so I'm lucky in that regard, but you do still have to, like, pay your bills. Oh yeah, I guess Zomboid would have a similar crowd. I mean, like, then I guess the nice thing is, like, Tarkov has kind of inspired quite a few games that are similar, or at the very least have the same audience, so, like, it's not out of the realm of, like, possibility to, play games that are... See, that's the wrong button. That's the button. It's not out of the realm of possibility to just play games that are like Tarkov or have the same audience too. Like, you know, Arma and DayZ have a similar audience. Stalker has a similar audience. The Metro games have a similar audience. You know, all those kind of survival FPS games. So at least there is, like, variety there where they've got other stuff that they can play too. Not all bleak and sad. Because there's nothing like it. You know, I don't think that would ever be. I would be shocked if something like that ever happened. That would be the most shocked I'd ever at anything of the sort. So very much doubt that anything like that would ever need to happen. Let's turn that off. Let's haul a lot of boulders. Actually speed up the process. Although if RimWorld hasn't been canceled yet, Dwarf Fortress never will be, so we're fine. You know, I'm not much of a Metroidvania person. I just want to say that I fucking love this game's art style. Fucking love this shit. This kind of, like, looks like should have been a Game Boy, but way better than a Game Boy game. Man, I love this shit. This shit's so cool looking. I'm just not a big fan of backtracking Metroidvanias, but God, this game looks cool. BOTA, if anybody's wondering. Did get canceled in Australia? Nonsense. You can still get it from Sweden. It's just free now. Also, I think you can still buy it from their website. Like, directly, because you can buy it DRM free from their website, can you not? You just can't buy it on Steam in Australia. But you can still get it from their website, I think. So, I mean, it's not like it's impossible to buy it. It's just more just kind of funny about how prudish Australia can be. Manage work orders. Sweet. Really? Wait, actually not have enough mechanics. Okay, you get to have mechanics. Currently meditating on song. Get off your songs and go build things for me. There we go. Floor great. Excellent. Hospitalier's just over here making silk gloves. Silk gloves for days. Well, I mean, if a game gets banned in a region on Steam, if you already own it, you get to keep it regardless, so that's not a concern. But yeah, still sucks. I mean, you guys can't buy... Did Hotline Miami 2 ever get permitted in Australia, or is that still banned too? Because Hotline Miami 2 was banned in Australia, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I seem to recall that was banned in Australia as well. I don't know if it ever, if that policy ever got changed or anything, but yeah, it's still banned there. Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen your guys' version of Left 4 Dead, so you know. Left 4 Dead without the missing thumb on the cover, without any blood, and without any, like, dismembering. Was always kind of amusing to me. Like, it's just like, oh, look, hilarious fucking ragdoll physics of humanoid bodies going... Like GTA 3. I mean, the appropriate changes should be made to your government to allow for more freedom in art, but okay. Don't they have terrible internet and all the games cost more? Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, games cost more in Canada, too. Actually, games end up costing around the same amount in Canada as they do in Australia. I like to remind people that full-price games in Canada aren't $70. They're $90. It's like $89.99 for most AAA games in Canada now. How much that is in USD? What, Canadian dollars? USD? I don't know what it is currently. 90 CAD to USD. 71.64 US dollars. 65.64, same diff. Hobo's an optimist and rounds up. Yeah, about 70 bucks. But like... Like Back for Blood Ultimate Edition is $89.99. The Deluxe Edition is $129.99, and the Ultimate Edition is $149.99. Which is why there was no fucking way in hell I was gonna get that until I got in that Humble Bundle by giving money to Ukraine, which is fine. So I gave 50 bucks to charity and got an overpriced video game. Random person I haven't spoken with in years is DMing me on Steam out of nowhere. What? Pardon? So one of two things is gonna happen. He's either gonna go, who the fuck are you again? Or he's gonna try and tell me that my friend a Steam account got compromised and they want me to contact Steam support to get their account fixed or something. One of two things is gonna happen. It's usually what happens when people randomly DM me on Steam after years. Is either, who the fuck are you? Or they're just like, hey, my account was stolen. My friend's account just got stolen. Or, sorry, I accidentally reported your account and you're about to get banned. Bwah, 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 bwah. It's awesome. All right. This fortress is both really fun, but also very, very uneventful. I'm gonna make a room where all these dwarves can camp. Although, I guess we did have 2 sieges and a Forgotten Beast today, so it hasn't been all snooze fests. Stuff's happened. But yes, games are expensive in Canada because, like Australia, our dollar is like pesos compared to the American dollar. And unfortunately, when your dollar's not worth all that much, people don't care, nor do they want it. How come you keep getting canceled? Huh? Okay, there we go. Cue that up. Do you need to get that hooked up now? Give to a workshop. You're going to give to that one. You give to a workshop. You're going to give to that one. You're going to give to a workshop. You're going to give to that one. You're going to give to a workshop. And you're going to give to that one. You're also going to give to a workshop. And give to that one. Because I keep seeing them going to weird other places when they could just walk right there and just go get more stuff. The humans have arrived. Just in time to trade. The thing you find hilarious is that you own Carmageddon with blood and gore and all the fun bits. It never got banned, but the UK made them change the blood to green. And they changed the humans to robots, yeah? What are they? China? You mean the UK? I mean, they certainly try to do their best imitations sometimes. Where are you going? Apparently the humans collided with a Monero, which is a creepy underground critter, and got into a fight with it and killed it, which seems to have scared somebody. It's fine. Don't worry. Like, this fort gets a little spicy sometimes, but it's not that bad. Come on. Chat, I'm just gonna show you this. Yo. And then I'm like, I'm working, eh? And then they're like, no. Have 2 minutes? No, I'm working. What's up? Can you please vote on my team logo, which I made? Pardon? Why? I sort of know who this person is. It's somebody he was at PAX West last year, or last time I went, which was 2019. I haven't spoken with this guy really since PAX West. It's about as good as his reading comprehension. I was like, no, maybe reach out on Discord while I'm not streaming and you'll get a better response. Depends on what the next thing he says. I might just unfriend him on Steam. I don't really know the guy particularly. I think I played games with him once. Was one of the Sov people from back in the day. Which is another way of saying I don't know him. Man, I've got so many Mace Dwarves. So many. Let's make that into a dorm. Let's make some rock pots. Let's just suspend it. Oh, well, obviously that's going to get canceled because he's got nowhere to put them. Which means Stone is now going to go make rock pots. Because Stone is finished, like, burrowing out that whole area. And also, I kind of forgot for a few seasons. Asto Purimin says, on behalf of the Merchants Guild, let me extend my greetings to your people. There's much to discuss. We've updated your maps and info. We need to check what the wars are like, actually. I don't know what to request. I'm just going to ask for iron. Finalize the import agreement. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, well, maybe reach out to me on Discord while I'm not streaming for a better response. Here, click Teams, on top. This link seems sus. This link seems sus. Wow, actually, not even a friend. How does someone DM you when they're not your friend on Steam? Well, I guess I'm gonna block them on all platforms now. Oops. The same, you can't request all. I mean, Let's discuss what we're willing to offer you for your craft stuff ship. What do they want from me? Give me an idea. Give them. They really want sheet. Well, I ain't got sheet. Are there water skins? Yeah, to me, I bet that it's somebody's account that got compromised. What's funny is, like, I wasn't even friends with him on Steam anymore. So weird. I didn't realize people could DM you on Steam without them being your friends. You go check my account settings, I think. Oh no, not sheet. I know, right? We're never gonna be able to do sheet, as they say. I want to unforbid all this stuff. On Dwarves, just get to it. Keep on hauling, keep on hauling. 9 hours of stream, damn. We should probably go play some of the other game. What do you guys think, chat? Do some more of this tomorrow, although we'll start with Long Death tomorrow, I think. Actually, it'd probably be better for Stone if I started with this and then switched to Long Death, but I think we'll start with Long Death tomorrow and then we'll do this in the evening. It's like 6 p.m. and I got like, I don't know, 4 hours of stream left or so. It's time to go play some Norco. I think that's the plan. So we'll trade with these humans and then we'll play some Norco. I do hope his account isn't compromised though, because he was cool. That sucks if your Steam account gets like compromised like that. That blows. Man, I saw this because I was closing Steam from those DMs, and I saw this incoming soon. I was like really excited for half a second, and it's only single player. Man, this looks awesome. I'd totally play this shit. Just like fixing roads. It was like a good time. You know, I think there's one rule about shitty simulator games, or like pseudo-realistic, tries to be realistic simulator games. If you make one, it has to have multiplayer. There should be a law surrounding that. It's like, if it's not multiplayer, why did you even do it? You're going to bed, it's 4 a.m., then go to bed. Do you have anything to do tomorrow? Yes, road maintenance sim. Of course. Just like any other simulator that exists. Man, for a second there, I thought it was going to grab the forge, and I was really excited. Oh, well. Dwarf Shop, we got ourselves a mood. Oh. That's maybe bad. The Forgotten Beast, Sethel, renewal has come. A towering eyeless bull. It has large mandibles and it squirms and fidgets. His hair is long and wavy. Beware his deadly spittle. Of course it is, because the farming simulator is actually good. All right, well, I have too many recruits. I kind of don't want to just throw them into the fire on that. I'm going to lock all the dwarves in there. Turn off all of the jobs. All of the dwarves are going to run inside real quick. It's going to come booking it out of here. I'm going to give these dwarves a minute to get inside. And those humans are going to defend us. Very much so. Them humans are going to defend us. So I'm just going to watch right here. And see when it shows up. Have fun. We'll see you when we see you. Cutest, thanks for hanging out. Or maybe tomorrow. Or whenever. You have a good night. The uninvited guest? The blind bull? I'm sorry, what? That's a lot of blood. Right there. Yes, the humans have sold us lots of shields, and they're going to provide shields with their face now. Okay, well, it does look like it's heading for the fortress entrance. It's just not taking a very direct route there. When I saw it was green, I was real worried it was made of glass, which is scary as fuck, but it's not, so we're okay. Also, I mean, I thought that South Park proved that shields made of human are not very efficient. Commander. What are you going after, you stupid blind bull? It looked like it was chasing that cave fish, but... I don't know if they can chase vermin. Come on. stupid thing. I'd send my dwarves down to kill it, but like I said, I don't have enough military, so I'd be scared that they'd all die. And I can't really afford to lose my military again. Oh, hey, it's actually going in the right direction now. Perfect. All right, runs over here. Up and at him. Freeways? What's the good news? I need some of that in my life right now. The bad news is there's a blind bull running straight at my fortress. Good news is there's a bunch of humans that are going to collide with it before we will. So it's fine. All right, it goes up, going up, going up, going up. Let's go. That is good news. Thank you very much for keeping that sub alive for a 20th month. Check and I get a big round of beers for Freeways, keeping that sub alive for a 20th month and help keep this weird channel funded. You're gonna upgrade your rig? Fuck yeah! What you getting? Are graphics cards actually like affordable by human beings now? Okay, you gotta go the other way, bull. This is bull shit right now. You gotta go the other direction. Oh no, is that a cat? Okay, well, go. Okay, it's fine. So there is a Dolmas the chick that is now a dead chick. Turns around and runs to the left. It killed a rooster child. And then it goes and takes a bath, as they seem to do. So now the question is how many of the humans will survive? I mean, obviously I could cave the thing in on top of it, but that would be a huge... But seriously, thank you very much for that Prime sub for a 20th month. We'll do this real quick while this is doing nothing of value. Clink. Come on, beastie. Oh yeah, no, what are they called? The RX cards are actually like affordable now, yeah. So if you're willing to go AMD, then you're good. Oh, to those of you in chat that have RTX, there is a version of Doom, like OG Doom, that has RTX support. So if for some dumb reason you want to see what like the flat sprites of Doom would look like with ray tracing, it's free. Just go Google it, you'll find it. It exists. So, you know, if you want another thing to use your fancy ray tracing cards for, if you happen to have one, OG Doom has... I know that Hobo does, so I'm just kind of shouting at it. But, like, if for some reason you would decide to play Doom, like original Doom, and you want to watch rays get traced in a visually appealing way, you can do that. Come on, climb up and up and out of that. Okay. I think that this guy just can't see where he's going, so he just kind of runs in a straight line until he collides with something. Cephal and Narcus Renul Tarog. The blind bull. I mean, like, it's not like it'll run poorly. It'll just look rad. There's some of my wrestlers, apparently, made a biggie oopsie and did wrestler things. Someone's brave in the face of imminent danger, so, let's see. One of my dwarves already fell in the water. That's suboptimal. My threats, 3 of them, great. Well, 2 of them jumped back out. 2 of them jumped back out. One of them's still down here for some reason. I don't know why the soldiers came down here, but I guess they just decided to. Shoutouts to this recruit, by the way, that's fighting with this thing in the river and dodging it. Attacking but jumps away, attacking but jumps away, attacking but jumps away, charges but dodges. Come on, recruit, you got this. I have faith in you. What weapon are you holding? You have a shield and a copper hat. Uh-oh. What else do you have? Chain leggings. Well, at least you got a shield. Very efficient. Come on, buddy. You got this. I have faith. Climb out. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get out. Get out. Climb out. Climb out. Climb out. Climb out. Climb out. Climb out. Climb. Oh, come on. You got this, man. Just dodge out of the water. You dodged into the water. Now you just got to dodge out of the water. Oh, my God. Just come on, dude. You got this. I have faith. Sort of. So much faith. Most faith. Much faith. I believe maybe in a dwarf called Etur. My God. What's your swimming skill? I need to know before you die. Novice. Well, you could have fooled me. God damn. This is, like, impressive, actually. I think, oh, man. Yeah, that looked painful. What was that? Forgotten Beast, the recruit, the flying infinity cycles of the Forgotten Beast misses the recruit. Okay, but, like, what is that? Okay, that is your right lower arm. Well, that's not good for your future survival, Etter. Bubbles the Armless. If you survive this, you get a nickname. I don't expect you to, but come on, man. You got this. I have... okay. How unfortunate. Well, let's just... someone was brave in the face of imminent danger, I think. This recruit, it did last so long. He did lose an arm in the battle, though. I mean, imagine if he killed it. He would have drowned regardless, I think, but... Okay. Forgotten Beast is coming up. I totally forgot to disable my squads. That's my own fault, really. Or recruit? Took one for the team. At least it was only the one recruit that died instead of, like, all 4 of the dwarves that were down there. Make a statue of him? Nah. If he killed it, yes. But he didn't kill it, so. Not every dwarf deserves a statue. Dwarves that succeed get statues. Dwarves that fail terribly get forgotten. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so they're now attacking the humans. We're going to come flying out to the rescue. Oopsies. Their humans are fighting with the beast. They seem to be just bashing it, and the dwarves are coming in to help. The beast is bleeding and bloodied and angry as all hell. Still fighting it, and the creature is dead. Well done, humans, and well done, dwarves. Where did that recruit go? Weird. Recruit? Anybody seen Ator? No? Anyway, get back to training. Must have left. We'll find him eventually. Yeah, if the recruit killed it, Bubbles McGee would have absolutely gotten a statue, for sure. But he didn't, so sucks to suck. Anyway, today was good progress. We built this. We fought off 2 sieges. We can turn this off now and let the dwarves be free. And we've got an artifact getting made. Today was progress. It was good. But I think that is enough of the Crimson Pulley for the day, because we've been streaming for, what, 9 hours? And, like, more than 8, about 8 of that has been dwarfs. So, I'm going to put a marker down here. We're going to go start Norco, I think. If you are here specifically for dwarfs and piecing out now, I understand. But, of course, I'd prefer if you stick around, because it's, of course, good for me. But if you are piecing out, I recommend watching Tekud, who is currently live. If you would like to watch somebody play dwarfs. We're going to go play Norco, which is a game that has a soundtrack by a band I really like.